Jai Shri Krishna to all. Welcome to Path to Anandam Gita series. Freedom from pains and miseries to happy, healthy and peaceful life. Based upon 108 mantras to awaken your soul. And Srimad Bhagavad Gita, my questions and God's answers. And today, series number 92. Overcome negativity and realize your true being, your true self. Who am I? Pranam to Hariharji Maharaj, Guruji, for your blessing, for your guidance. And Bhagwan Krishna Bhagwanji, Lord Krishna, to Pranam. And Pranam to all of you. I am Satya Kalra, the founder of Path to Anandam, Path to Blissful Living, and founder, not just the founder, but also the host of this series. And whatever you see on this page, this is all blessing of Bhagwan Krishna Ji and Guruji. Their guidance, their motivation. We are all here together. And today's series, the main verse for this is chapter 16:21, along with other verses like 22nd, 23rd, 24. So how to reach your eternal home, Param Dham, ultimate home, not after death, but while living. And we will cover today what are divine and demonic qualities, hallmarks of divine and demonic people, which we have covered before, but we briefly go over how to change and become divine. And what are the benefits of doing that? And how to practice. And what is our homework to practice? And our sankalpa. I develop divine qualities. I am divine. Meditation and question and answers. So let's all pray to Bhagwan Krishna Ji for his guidance, just like Arjuna did. When he became zero from hero. In other words, when he lost his composure, got confused, and did not know what is good, what is bad, what to do, what not to do. And based on that, he said, Na jotasiti gobindam. Because of his ignorance, he did not know how to fulfill his responsibilities. And then, with blessing of Lord Krishna, he was guided. And finally, after going through the whole transformation journey, blissful journey, finally he realized he should be performing his duty. And he said, Karishe vachanam tav. I do as you advise. So let's all go through this blissful journey by seeking Bhagwan Krishna's advice, by humble and surrender. Karpanye dosho pahat svabhavaha paschami tvam dharma samud chetaha yachasai syani nishchitam bruhitanme shishyaste ham shadi mam tvam prapanyam Shishyaste shadimam tvam prapanyam. So just by prashyami, asking how we should ask, we should admit our current situation, why we cannot see beyond our current situation, our ignorance. So Arjuna said, my heart is overpowered by the weakness of pity. I have lost all my composure and my mind is confused about my duty, my dharma, what is good, what is bad. So I am requesting you to tell me what is definitely good for me. Not what am I asking, what is definitely good for me. I am your disciple. I surrender to you. Please instruct me. So, Bhagwan Krishna ji, who was his divine company, took him step by step with teachings, with his teachings, Bhagavad Gita, which is a spiritual instruction manual to our righteous living, which guide us to know the difference between virtues and vices, divine qualities and demon qualities. Not only that, but also how to transform demon qualities, vices into virtues. In other words, build our character and also attain the supreme goal of life, which is eternal happiness, peace, oneness, reaching to Paramdham, and realizing that my true nature is Chit Ananda. And this is not just because while living or dying, but both the worlds. While we are living, we can enjoy our life. At the same time, reaching to ultimate home, Paramdham. And this is all put together based on Hariharji Maharaj's many different teachings and quotations. So let's all go through this blissful journey to reach to our higher self, our true being, by building our character through Bhagavad Gita, the 700 verses, 18 chapters, mainly 3 yogas, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Gyan Yoga, where Bhagwan Krishna through 574 verses, Karma Yoga, chapter 1 to 6, taught Arjuna, not Arjuna, taught all of us how to perform our duty, how to convert every action, every karma into karma yoga by doing yoga karmesu koshalam. And whatever we do, just do it for the sake of goodness, for the goodness of the universe. Karmatniye vadika raste ma phaleshu kadachan. Ma karma phal hetu bhurma mate sango asu karma. Do your best and let go. And putting love and compassion in it, knowing this is all for Vasudev's Kutumbakam, for the whole universe. Why? Because this is Vasudev Sarvamiti. He is the all. So we learn how to perform our action with love and compassion. And now we are on the path of Gyan Yoga. True knowledge, who we are and how to perform our action and let go. We learned that, but now we have to focus on ourselves develop more wisdom. And we learned who is the creator, and we are the part of that creation. What are the barriers to reach there? How are we made with the Triguni Maya? We are the byproduct of Tamsik, Rajasic, and Sattvic. And then we learn who is Purushottama, who is the supreme of the supreme personality, supreme power. And now, in this chapter 16, Deva Asura Sampad Vibhag Yog, where we must understand what are the divine qualities and what are the demon qualities, so we become more careful. So through that knowledge, Bhagwan Ji took Arjuna step by step, here removing each layer of the ignorance, just like onion, and finally reached to the essence, the sweetest part of onion, sweetest part of us, the Anandam, the Chit Ananda. As I said before, we are now on the program of PhD. PhD does not mean the physical education. PhD means the Paramarth, humanity, ultimately the divine path. So union with God through the path of knowing the difference between divine and demon qualities. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita is a self-transformer. In all these series, we talk about self-transforming ourselves. Adat buri sudhar lo. Itna to jaan lo, who am I? Ho gaya bhajan. And build our character building. So by self-purification, by changing our bad habits, our vices into good habits, divine qualities. And I put all these here. These are the 26 divine qualities Bhagwan Ji has mentioned, starting from Abhay, Satya, Samam, Sudhir, and Teja, Shama, Dhrati, you name it. All these are mentioned here. Anything, and just by practicing one good quality is more than enough, because the other will follow. But similarly, there are the demon qualities, Kam, Krodh, Lo, Moh, Ankar. So we have to go beyond that. Then we can experience our Chit Ananda. So this is a summary of this chapter. And we also learned previously that based on these qualities, demonic qualities, divine qualities, vices and verses, there are basically two types of people, which makes us, where Bhagwan Ji says, Asura, and motivation to Arjuna was given to him, because he said, Devi Sampad Vimokshaya. But Nibandi Asuri Mata, Asuri's qualities are cause of bondage. So all these good qualities, following our dharma, turning every action into karma yoga. In other words, selfless actions with love and compassion. Just like Arjuna, who did not want the kingdom. He did not want to do the violence. He did not want to kill. On the other hand, there are Duryodhana's type of people who wanted to conquer everything, did not even want to give a. He said, Sui ki nok ka bhi zameen nahi dunga, rajya nahi dunga. Forget about 5 rajas which Lord Krishna was asking him to do it. rather than giving the whole Hastinapur. We all know the story of that. So there is no reason to go detail, but as we all know that he was full of selfishness, ego, jealousy, greed. He wanted all, and of course wanted to kill Pandavas and violence. But here look at the beauty of Bhagavad Gita, the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagwan Krishna motivates Arjuna and all of us on every single step whenever we are discouraged. And he said, Ma Shucha Sampadam Devi Bijastosi Ab Pandav. Don't worry, because you are filled, you are made with all the divine qualities. Similarly, we are made with all the divine qualities. We just have to aware of all these vices. Whenever they come, they overtake us due to worldly things. Then we should remind ourselves. The reminders, when we say remind ourselves, means the reminder comes from supreme power. So after telling Arjuna that you are divine, but he tells him also, in this chapter, he talks about 26 divine qualities. He talked about 39 divine qualities. In chapter 12, how to become his beloved bhakta, devotee. Chapter 3, 4, from 3 to 6, he talked about hallmarks of karma yoga. Who are karma yoga? Who convert every action, they do it everything for the benefit of universe. And here again, he's reminding us as a Jnana Yoga. But not only that, he reminded us about 26 qualities. Here, he gave us a very detailed description of demonic people, because we could have all the good qualities. People could have all the good qualities, but one bad quality destroys all. We could made the best of the best efforts to do every action. But if one mistake we make it, like when we drive so carefully. But if for a split of a second, if our mind goes somewhere else, we might get into accident. And it happens. It happened to me just last week. I was backing up the car for my driving. Split of a second, my mind got disconnected. And I hit another car right behind me. So in other words, I damaged both of our cars. So this is a split of the second if we get disconnected. All of a sudden. And why I got disconnected? Because I was a little bit upset and I was kind of not to my fullest potential. And it happens to all of us. And that's where Lord Krishna says here, that when we do not know what to do and what not to do, when we are full of any one of that, and here he mentioned especially about these verses that we learned previously, Dhammo, Darpo, Arpanam, all these qualities he talked about. So these selfish, egoistic desires, obsessed with material world or some kind of negativity, these are the characteristics of these people. These are the demonic people's marks. They believe in violence, they believe in maliciousness, and they are very destructive. Even we become destructive unknowingly. So here it says, lust and selfish desires create demonic behaviors. Demonic behaviors is not that we just get very violent, but even a tiny bit upsetness causes a disharmony in our system, whether it's physically or emotionally. So, these demonic people get very upset, misery in life, and go into hell. That's what the whole message here is. How people, when people get upset, then what happened to them? When they're upset, they feel like they're very upset. And upset does not mean that they're only upset when their smile is gone, their Anandam is gone, their love and compassion feelings are gone. That is actually hell. So we could relate to this hell while living, or we could call it the bigger hell, which is in the Garud Puran. It describes so well in that one. If anyone have you read that, it's really scary. So the verse today focus is 21. Trividham narkasya dwaram. Trividham narkasya edam dwaram. Nashnam atmana. Kamaha krodasya tatha lobasya. Tasmad trayam tajet. In other words, what are these? Bhagwan Ji summarize all these demon qualities, their characteristics into three things. Trividham, narkasya dwaram. These are the three gates to the hell. What are those? Desires, anger, and greed. We talked about desires so many times. That desires, and we learned this in chapter 2, starting from Bhagavad Gita. Dhyayato vishyan punsa sangasteshu upjayate sangas sanjayate kama krodha bijayate. It says there. And here it's saying the same thing. Kama krodha. So, when we have desires, when we think about something, it gives the birth to desires. When we desire something and we get it, we become greedy, we want more and more. But if we do not get it, we become very upset. Maybe little or more, but upsetness is there. So desire does not mean only the worldly desires, but if somebody does not perform according to our desire, if they do not resonate with our wishes, they do not fulfill our wishes, we get upset. But for the worldly things, what happens? What's happening in the world right now? Terrorism and all that. They want to kill. So that is called unethical behavior. Sometimes people want to get things that they don't get it. They cheat, steal, stab other people. This is all unethical behavior, unrighteous behavior, because they're angry, because their desires are unfulfilled. They are irritated. But if they get it here, they have so much craving, want more. And again, somewhere they're going to fail and unethical behavior comes. So in summary here, you can see there are three gates to hell. I just put it here. Kama, Krodha, Lobha. So when the Kama, the desires come, and then it eventually lead to the disaster. How? Because one gets angry, irritated, unhappy, and then feels so much unhappiness, so much pains and miseries and miserable. And what happens? Physically, they get sick. Blood pressure goes high. Body releases cortisol. Affects the heart, digestive systems, liver, lungs, everything. Physically, insomnia, cannot sleep at night. And then mentally disturbed, angry, upset, and then disconnected. that who am I? I'm such a Chit Ananda. I am Anandamai Murti. But what happens? With anger, everything is dissolved. And then confusion, ignorance, like Arjuna got confused when he got upset. And then he was about to perform sin, not performing his duty, which is sin. And would end up with bondage, but and then continuously going birth and death, birth and death, birth and death. This cycle of birth and death never ends. So the message here is, must not enter in these areas. But what happens once we enter? We do enter, maybe some or little or more, but we do enter in these three gates. So Bhagwanji says, but focus on escaping. Why? Here he gives a beautiful motivation to us that by escaping, what would we get? Etai vimuktaha konte tamodwara stri bir naraha acharyata atmana shreya istato yati paramam gatim. You will get the paramam gatim. O Arjuna, one who has abandoned these three gates of hell, in other words, do not enter into it, works conducive to self-realization, then we are connected and then we are in sadhana. We can do sadhana, we can do karam yoga, we can do bhakti yoga, we can do gyan yoga. But if we are in these influenced by lust, anger, greed, here, the lust has two meanings. One are the desires, but it is also related to the sex life, where you can see it, how people, even the many different nowadays, so much is going on with this womanizers, and I mean, too many problems in that area, too many problems in that area. So the desire has two categories. One is the sex area, one is the worldly desires, and both are very dangerous. But he says one who was conducive, one who is kind of controls there, does not enter into three gates, then they can live ethical, righteous living, enjoy the life, don't feel guilty. Why did I do bad? Why? You feel so good. So all these spiritual practices take us to supreme abode, where it shows the Param Dham experience. So one can see here, you can see lust, anger. You know how this is all miseries, miseries, miseries. You can see that jealousy, all that. They are just fighting here with each other and here. But once you are on the path of sadhana, see, you reach to the Param Dham, supreme power. And not only that Param Dham, that physical, this is for the people who are more on the Sakar duality path. I am here and God is there. So then one can relate to this Param Dham. But here we are in the Gyan Yoga, where we're talking about ourselves, where the Gyan Yoga, where the Param Dham is within us. When we are in that eternal peace, love, then we are at Param Dham. So now the question comes, where to find these guidance teachings? Of course, we are here together. But here Bhagavad Gita again assures us that the people who do not follow this, for them, na sukham na param gatim. So one who acts merely under the impulses of desires and disobey the audience of the scriptures does not attain perfection. They cannot understand, they cannot experience their supreme nature, Chit Ananda, or happiness, or achieve their supreme goal of life. So, again, assurance comes here, but the one who follow the scriptures, so consider scriptures your authority. Whether it's a Vedas, is a Guru Granth Sahib, it's Ramayana, or Gita. We are talking about the Gita here, so I just put the Gita here. But it means scriptures. Consider scriptures your highest authority, guidelines. And based on that, we should perform our action because they teach us what to do and not to do. That's why I call it Gita is what? Gita teaches us do's and don'ts, what to do and what not to do. So knowing this, one should perform your work. We should all perform our work only according to the guidelines of scriptures. So sometimes when we are confused, as Gandhiji said, open the Bhagavad Gita and it guided him. And it's not, we all who study Bhagavad Gita experience the similar things. Whenever we are in difficult time, even we open the Bhagavad Gita, it guides us. Continue to read it, it gives us the peace. So he says, by doing that, we finally feel kind of peace, hopeful. So hopeless to hopeful. These Bhagavad Gita and scriptures help us. We all have that experience. Then you will be gradually elevated. He's saying gradually elevated. It's not that you have already reached there. So teachings, continuous teachings of Bhagavad Gita, scriptures. Why? Because the scriptures are the source of guidance and wisdom. So follow the teachings of the scriptures. That's where Bhagwanji is saying that work, because we are living in this world, so we have to work. We have to breathe. We have to do our daily responsibilities, fulfill them. We have to go places. So every action we do, convert our action into action yoga, karma to karma yoga, yoga karme sukoshram. Do with your best of the best efforts for the benefit of universe, and then surrender to supreme power, because we are all Vasudev Kutumbakam. Do it for the benefit of all. Vasudev Kutumbakam, not only that, but with the global interest. So how to cultivate practices? Now it comes a time to practice. We have put the calendar, but prior to calendar, I just kind of put it here just to go over that we have to do the self-reflection. That's where the homework comes, question comes. Cultivate positive traits. So why we practice those 30 days planner, then mindfulness, live all the time, practice one thing at a time, meditation, and then have a righteous living. And then automatically these things like control of anger, though sometimes it comes, we have to learn how to and manage that. Our anger, we have talked about it previously, how to do that. How we speak, how we study for our self-improvement. So, in other words, overcoming lust, anger, and greed, which is the three highlighted in this particular verse and the summary of this chapter, all the demon qualities, is essential for spiritual development and our inner peace. So we go back to this. So now by looking at that summary, now this 30 days planner will, which you have been doing it, we all have been doing it, but we have to live in the awareness, because spiritual practices are prerequisition to remove our ignorance, calm, krodh, low, moh, ankar, self-purification, self-transformation. And how we do it? We practice setting the mode of our day in the morning by reading, by mantras, whatever we do, take care of our body, mind, and connect ourselves with supreme power through our breaths with Om mantras. But we should know which one I want to change. Here is the, so just take one and practice, practice, practice. So with the divine qualities, one becomes divine person, gradually goes beyond birth and death, at the end, but even in daily life, we start feeling more and more happier, smile more, and then ultimately reach to our supreme home, Param Dham, oneness with supreme power, and experience our true nature, Sat Chit Ananda. So in summary, divine qualities take us to liberation, but the vices, virtues take us to liberation, but vices will take us to bondage, continuously pain and miseries. So we should just do our best by practicing this, and then surrender, surrender, surrender. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braj. Aham tvam sarvapebhyo mokshashyami ma shucha. So we should continue our practices. And here is a time for homework. So be aware, very important. Live in as a sakshi. Observe yourself, continuous practices, and ask that question over and over and over. Do I have my supreme goal of my life? Self-realization. Who am I? What are my vices? What are the desires are causing me anger and greed? Make a list of those things. Work on it one at a time and focus on righteous living. And again, spiritual practices, especially mindfulness, meditation. So continuously self-inquiry is the path. And let go. And as Swami Vivekananda said, do not get discouraged, because everyone has the potential to be divine. So again, the choice is ours, what we want. We put so much efforts coming here in the morning. So I know all of you, our choice is here, or to our liberation of miseries and pains in daily life as well as beyond. So our sankalpa, with these chapters, we have taken several sankalpas. Very first sankalpa we took, I know the difference between divine qualities and demon qualities, vices versus virtues. Then we learn, I develop divine qualities. Not only I know the difference, now I am on the path of developing it. And then now I follow the teachings of Bhagavad Gita and become divine. So I am divine. So here is now Sankalpa Bhavan, Kamasya Tattva. See, Kamasya Tattva. Where does this Kamasya Tattva? Our Sankalpa is that worldly desires, unduly desires, we have to sacrifice those. But our Sankalpa should be only toward that. Then by little, we will experience I am divine. But have a patience, because it's not a quick fix. We all know that when we want to change any habit, it takes long time. At least in my experience, continuous practice for 21 days or 30 days. So then we do not get into we become more divine rather than getting into disaster, but more, we are on the path of divinity and become divine. So again, follow the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. By doing that, we will experience eternal happiness, healthiness, peaceful life, and experience who am I, Sat Chit Ananda. So by practicing Bhagavad Gita, putting the seed of supreme power, Nam, Om mantra, waving the goals, little by studying, the fruits will come. I become divine. I become so divine that I am at the Paramdham. So thank you very much for joining. the session, overcome negativity and realize your true self. In other words, go beyond miseries and pains and experience I am Chit Ananda.